It's Nancy Danter from Toronto, Canada here.
Hi, everybody. This is Debbie Salmons outside of Boston, Massachusetts.
Hey, Debbie. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing great. You know, it's been a fun day. It's not too cold here yet for early December. Well, I know, but you know what? For early December, it's not bad, right?
Right. Well, I will say that. I'll give you that one. Yes. Went and got the Christmas tree today, and that was really fun. And getting some recipes for keto snacks and Christmas goodies. So.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. I know it's that time of year when you start to think about what am I going to do for baking and all that sort of good stuff. And it does start to weigh in your mind because our life is a lot different than it was this time last year. I mean, you used to make, what'd you call it? Christmas crack?
Oh, yes. Christmas crack, which as a matter of fact, it's funny that you say that because Dylan brought it up to me yesterday.
Oh,
and he said,
did, eh?
Oh my gosh, Mom, like, what are we going to do? The true name of it is Christmas Crunch. He goes, what are we going to do about that? And I said, okay, we can have a little splurge. Maybe we'll make a small batch on Christmas Eve and we can have a little bit on Christmas Day. I said, but I love doing the Christmas baking, right? And so I said, we're going to find some keto-friendly Christmas cookies. So I've been having a blast today finding some of those.
Oh, good. And we'll have to do one of these videos with us sharing recipes and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this brings up the topic that I wanted to talk to you about tonight, which was stop consuming refined sugar. So we're talking about Christmas baking. And here I am saying, let's stop consuming refined sugars. And so it sort of goes hand in hand. But what I will say is I read an article today, and I'm going to read the article. Well, the name of the article was 50 Ways Happier, Healthier, and More Successful People Living on Their Own Terms. That's the title of the article. I'm not very...
Ooh, that's intriguing, though, isn't it?
It is. So when I read through and I scrolled through, one of the ones that they said, this was number 7, was to stop consuming refined sugar. So I'm just going to read what it says. It says, If you stopped consuming sugar, your brain will radically change. Actually, study after study is showing that refined sugar is worse for our brains than it is for our waistline, according to Dr. William Coda Martin. Refined sugar is nothing more than poison because it's been depleted of its life forces, vitamins, and minerals. Refined sugar has now been shown to make us cranky, make us make rash decisions, and make us stupid. Again, they were talking about caffeine earlier. Again, like caffeine, if you stopped eating refined sugar, you will experience some negative withdrawals. But like any good habit, the effect of this will be seen in the long run. What would your health be like a year from now or 5 if you were completely refined sugar free? So let's just chat about that for a minute. You have cut refined sugar out of your diet. I've cut refined sugar out of my diet. How do you feel almost 6 months after having gone without sugar?
You know, it's absolutely day and night. And well, we'll say my winter last winter was not a good winter. And although I wasn't really, like a candyaholic or a sugaraholic, there's sugar in so many things that we don't realize, right? But last winter, I just had a very rough winter. And, I was baking cakes and cupcakes like every 2 days and with the sickly sweet frosting on it. And I gained 25 pounds last winter. I mean, horrible, and felt horrible. Felt sick and depressed and heavy and lethargic and tired. And I mean, in every possible way, felt terrible. But it felt, I almost knew it when I was doing it. It was like, it became an addiction, right? And I didn't know it at the time, but once I ate one piece of that cake, then my body started craving more and more and more. And I couldn't get off that cycle, that treadmill. So when we finally did, and I know you did it the same way, we just gave it up. It was hard, but not hard, because I started feeling well fairly quickly. And then since then, we've just, we're 6 months down the road, and we're learning about substitutions and how you can feel like you're not sacrificing or giving, the quote unquote fun holiday stuff up. But even if I didn't find these, I'm telling you, if I didn't find these substitutes, I'm done with sugar.
Yeah.
How can you not be done with it when first of all, I felt how badly I felt, but then now when you read something like that and that it's literally poison in our bodies, it's too much. And so I feel day and night already.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
and I kind of remember you liked cupcakes. So how about you?
Cupcakes and creme brulee. Remember that? Like I would go to Whole Foods when everybody else is going there for healthy things. And what am I doing? I'm buying cupcakes and creme brulee. Like really kind of
you got
sad.
it from Whole Foods. It felt good.
Well, it's true. And I like the sickly icing on top too. So it was sort of a crazy thing. But I mean, I will say that since being off of the sugar, my energy level is unbelievable. And I mean, you can attest to how terrible my energy was when we saw each other last March in Florida. I'm there, and then the first 2 days, I mean, I've never done this before, but we were by the pool, and I laid on that lawn chair, and I was out cold. I could not wake myself up.
Oh, I know you were unconscious.
It was awful.
Yep.
And so my energy level has drastically changed. I don't have the, up and down all day long. I certainly, because I'm not doing that all the time, I'm not hungry. When my hunger is sort of like this, steady all the time. And my mental focus, like when I go to sit down to do something, my level of concentration is so much better than I don't know it's ever been. And, it's a funny thing because I now look at things like I look at people, and this is not a judgment thing at all, but I look at people when I'm like standing to go and get a coffee or something, and I'm watching people standing in front of me in the lineup in Tim Hortons, and they're getting their kids sugar-coated sprinkled donut. And I'm almost to the point of cringing now because I'm like, oh my God, you are what you're doing to your children is, and here's the crazy thing. I beat myself up for it for a while. About the third month in on this thing and really realizing how good I was feeling, I kind of really felt bad that I didn't know this, really intellectually know this sooner, because I could have helped my children sooner.
I know.
And I mean, I thought I was feeding them a very balanced diet, and I didn't think that the little itty bits of cookies and sugars and treats that I was giving them were really that harmful, when in fact, my son, who's got ADHD, since he's been following this diet with me more or less, and he's cut out the sugar, his mood is like this, his level of concentration is like this, and I feel horrendous as a parent.
Well, I know, but we only can do what we can do. We know what we know when we know it, right? But I understand what you're saying. I mean, I feel the same way because Dylan's that same way.
Yeah.
He's doing so much better in all of his math classes this year, which were always hard. And I noticed the mood thing too. Like my mood is basically stable. And all these things, right? Now that we know what we know, and you're out there, and the other thing that kills me is the soda. I was never a huge soda drinker anyway, but all the young kids, like I see the parents, like, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, because I wish I had looked it up. Like there's some ridiculous amount of sugar in the soda.
The little juice boxes now. I'm like, I literally, and you don't, and it's not a judgment thing, but you're sort of, what you do is I go back into that space of, oh my gosh, you're doing what I did. You're following the path that I followed, and a path that I wished I had made a different choice on. And that's where, but you don't want to be, I don't want to be evangelistic about this.
Right.
But inside my head, I'm kind of like, I'm doing them a disservice by not saying something, and yet
I know.
I don't, because I'm like, well, it's everybody's prerogative to do what they're going to do. But holy Hannah, if I wish I could I'm not a person that lives with regret, but on this one thing, I wished I knew this now, but I could go back a few years and do some things differently. I really, really do.
Well, I do too. And like you say, we're not going to be evangelists about this, but when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can start with the people around us, right? That's just how it works. I mean, that everything from diabetes to tremendous illnesses. And I look at them and I just know that they would be so much better because I know their sugar intake. And I just want to say, please, it's not worth it. Like, you feel terrible and you're going to the doctors all the time and you're taking this pill and that pill. And really, you might not have to take any pill if you just stop the sugar.
I know. And here's the crazy thing about it. When you stop the sugar and in fact the carbohydrates, more or less, and you up the fat, you don't crave it anymore. You can get yourself off the cycle as soon as you just stop. But we build it up in our minds that it's going to be hard to stop, like, and that we can't stop, you know?
Yep. And really what's behind that, and I know because I've done that before too, is I wasn't quite ready either. So sometimes behind that, I could never give that up. So I set myself up to fail, and I did that a lot. And I think a lot of people do that, but we're lucky in a way because we're doing research and we're trying all these other things. So even if you're someone that just cannot imagine your life without something sweet, well, we're here to tell you that there are alternatives to the refined sugars.
Great alternatives. Really great alternatives.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not feeling deprived. Are you feeling deprived?
Not even a little. Not even a little. And like you say, the lack of hunger, the lack of cravings, that vicious cycle. I don't spend half, not a quarter of the amount of time thinking about what I'm going to eat in a day anymore.
No.
It's not, but yet it's still enjoyable. It's so tasty and it's fun. But I mean, I used to spend just hours thinking about food.
Yeah.
And I don't do that. So I'm glad to be done with it.
Well, and I think, just sorry to interrupt, but I think too, the other thing with sugar, what we've been reading, is that it's not just harmful for people who are pre-diabetic and all that sort of stuff, and not just harmful for the brain, but I think I've read something recently where it is absolutely dreadful. It's what cancer feeds off of.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think candida too, which is yeast in your gut and all that sort of stuff. So your gut health is so vitally important. And when your gut is healthy, it helps with your entire immune system. So if your immune system goes down, then you can't fight off, especially this time of year, colds and flus and all that sort of stuff. It's our immune system is basically the center, or the hub of it is in our gut. And so when you're feeding yourself sugar, your gut is not healthy at all. So it's something, I'll just wrap it up by saying, do a little bit of research. There's so much you can Google search. I saw one thing today. There was a brand new movie. I think it's out of Australia called That Sugar documentary, or That Sugar movie. And I can't wait to watch it because it looks really interesting. But I think this is going to come more and more and more to the forefront. And so, I guess they were absolutely right. If I could say how to be happier and healthier in 2016, get rid of sugar. Get rid of the
sugar, and do not fear. There are delicious tasting substitutes that will satisfy you. So agreed. Get rid of the sugar in 2016.
Well, thank you for your time tonight. And if you like what you hear, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel. And I think Debbie we've got a Facebook group too that we would be happy if you'd like to join.
We have an awesome Facebook community where there's a whole group of us that are living a keto lifestyle, no sugar, and it's on Facebook. And send one of us a message, or our group name is Keto Messengers Being Better. And we'd love to have you join and be part of our community. And we support each other in this journey. So have a great night.
Take care.